I, 37 male, have been married to my husband, 41 male, for 4 years. I came out to my family as bi when I was a teen, and from the very beginning, they were nothing but supportive, and to this day, almost my entire family accepts me as who I am. My niece, 20 female, is the only exception. She's my brother's 43 daughter, and despite her parents showing no prejudices against the LGBTQ+ community, she doesn't make a secret of her hate for me. I don't know where her beliefs stem from, but the day I first introduced my husband, then boyfriend, to her family, she's been very hostile towards us. She was a teen at the time. She refuses to speak to my husband, barely acknowledges us at family gatherings, and despite her father constantly chastising her, frequently uses slurs to refer to members of the LGBTQ+ community and calls same-gendering relationships disgusting. Due to a severe flooding, my brother and his family have been forced to evacuate their house. My husband and I have a guest room and a sofa bed in our living room, so when my brother asked us whether his family could stay at our place for a while, I told him that him, his wife, and their younger children, teen female, tween male, were very welcome to stay as long as they needed to, but that we weren't comfortable letting his oldest daughter stay with us. He seemed to have been expecting that answer and told me that he understood my reasons. When he broke the news to his daughter, she was furious, asking where else she was going to stay and that she had nowhere else to go. From what I know, my brother offered to help her pay for a cheap hotel, but she doesn't want to dip into her savings because she doesn't work and she's been living with my brother rent-free. Apparently she's been staying with a friend for a few days now, and she's been telling her mother how awful it is there. My brother's still supporting my decision, but his wife has started trying to convince me to let her eldest daughter move in. She's been pushing me to get over her comments because my niece is still young and naive, and that she couldn't have known her actions would have had major consequences. She's advising me to be the bigger person and to not let my hard feelings for her daughter stop me from helping a family member, because that would be an idiot thing to do. Not the idiot. She's living with the consequences of her horribleness by having to stay somewhere she doesn't like because she couldn't keep her mouth shut about her disgusting views on your relationship. If I were you, I'd say that you're happy to let her stay as soon as she genuinely and honestly proves she no longer feels that way towards you and your husband. I would never let someone who disrespected me and my husband stay with us, family or not, unless they were literally about to be on the streets, which she isn't, and even then, it would be the very, very last option. Oh, what her mother meant was she didn't realize she would someday need the person she was dehumanizing. Tough. This is the find out stage. Don't deny her this important life lesson. The irony that if she had gone woke, she wouldn't have gone broke. LOL. She's been staying with a friend. No one needs to offer up free living just because a family member doesn't want to stay with said friend. Also, if it's awful there, she won't be happy staying with you either. She already rejected a paid-for hotel. On top of that, she's already judgmental as heck. You can expect that she'll make snide remarks, as she has in the past, about your lifestyle choices, then double down on how your place sucks because it's not her room. Who wants to deal with that? Let her be mad. She already acts like an entitled snob. Agreed. Next time she pulls out the "she's too young to know" line, tell her that natural consequences are how people learn. She's never going to stop unless she faces some forms of difficulty. It's also time for another big girl lesson in life, which is, you don't always get to hoard your savings. Savings are for emergencies, like not having somewhere to stay. She has the money and the ability. She's trying to guilt trip them into letting her keep her money safe. I, 30 male, have a wife, 30, and a daughter, pre-tween. I work in finance and my wife is a stay-at-home mom, as I earn sufficient for both of us. My wife is a great stay-at-home mom and takes great care of our house. I was lucky to buy a home, as I earn well in a medium cost of living city. I love my wife, but she finds it humorous to say that I'm incapable of doing household tasks. We had agreed that she would do them when we decided she'd stay home, but I do stuff occasionally when we're both home if she asks me to. Still, then if I say load the dishwasher for her, she'll claim I did it wrong just because I do it differently than she does. It still cleans well. The other day we were eating, and she told me about her day, how she went grocery shopping and optimized the cost by buying specific items at specific stores and accounting for the cost of traveling to each store. She made an offhanded remark that I would never be able to do that and said it in a "what would you ever do without me" kind of way. I replied back saying that, of course I could do it. I handle complex decisions and calculations at my work as I work in finance, and I have a master's degree. And what I do involves more intellect than household operations. Even though I acknowledged and appreciated what she does, I would be capable if the roles were reversed. She got angry and seemed to think I was calling her stupid when I wasn't, and then cried. And now I feel like an idiot. She said she was a very good student, and had she graduated, she would also be in my position. My wife and I met in college, but she was an international student studying physics and computer science, and she had issues with her loan from her home country. She couldn't afford to complete it. She only had 3 semesters left to go, and we got married then so she could stay. Initially, she wanted to complete it later after finding the funds, but she agreed to be a stay-at-home mom when I got a good job. And I appreciate that a lot, as we were able to have a kid early on, even while I was both completing my master's and working full-time. You are the idiot. Your wife is a very smart woman who probably prepared her whole life for a challenging technical career. And now, for better or worse, she's a stay-at-home mom with no degree or a paying job. It's clear that you're proud of your intellectual capabilities and the complex tasks you tackle at work. It's part of your identity and your ego. Your wife has none of that, even though that's what she wanted. What little source of pride she has, her household task, her own spouse diminishes and minimizes. How would that make you feel if you were in her shoes? Can you support your wife to finish her degree? Yeah, if OP makes so much money now, let's see him pay for his wife to go back to school and finish her degree. Sadly, this type of situation isn't all that rare. It's the story of many women. As a stay-at-home mom, as much as I appreciate and love my husband, I wonder what my life would be like had I stayed in school and done the things I initially set out to do. OP, your wife gave up everything in order to raise your child. This includes making your master's degree and your career possible. You literally would have neither of those things if she hadn't sacrificed everything she wanted for herself to make your life possible. She could have left you with the kid, returned to her home country, and let your dreams fall apart instead of her own. Oh dear, you need to go back to school. I will say that again, as you're a slow learner, Mr. Master's degree. She wanted recognition of her value to you. A few weeks ago, a friend, 27 female, from high school, reached out to me. She wanted to stay at my house while in town for a concert. I honestly hadn't thought about this person in a while. We used to be friends, but went to different colleges and just didn't really keep in touch. I was surprised, but said okay. She said they were in town for a concert. In the lead up, she never mentioned a dog. When she showed up, she had a dog. Now, I'm not a dog person at all and don't own any pets. They aren't my jam. I told her that she couldn't stay with me, as I don't allow animals in my house. Well, she dropped the service dog info on me and told me she didn't have anywhere else to go. I don't care what it's for. It's not staying in my house. I was just kind of stunned at everything going on. I told her I don't want dog hair in my house and generally don't want it around. I told her I was doing you a favor, but now you're pushing it. She starts arguing with me that the dog isn't a pet. I told her I don't care. I don't want it in my house. I closed the door. She bangs on my door and calls me an idiot. After a few minutes, she left. She puts me on blast on social media, and now I'm getting feedback on how I'm an idiot from people online. I thought it was rude as heck to show up with a dog, even a service dog. Not the idiot. First off, fake service dogs are so rampant that I have to seriously question if it actually is one. Secondly, although public facilities need to accommodate service dogs, your home's not a public facility. You were doing her a favor. She was acting shady by not telling you about the dog in advance and was hoping that when you were put on the spot, you'd just cave. Even in the unlikely event it was a real service dog, it's still a dog, will dirty up your house, get fur everywhere, and use your yard. Respond to her post that it's rude to call someone after X years to ask for a place to stay during a concert, but not mention that you have a dog. You can't just show up on someone's doorstep with animals and expect everything to be okay. You don't know what their health situation is. You could be allergic to dogs. Then what? Info. Was this a festival or outdoor concert? Was she going to bring a dog into a mosh pit? I'm guessing she was leaving it with you. She knew exactly what she was doing when she didn't tell you about her dog. She was obviously surprised you stuck to your guns and said no. I'm a huge animal person, and I would never expect someone to just accommodate my pet without notice. I have a son with a man named Michael. Michael has 2 other children with a woman named Kathleen. Neither of us is currently in a relationship with Michael, and we don't exactly know where he is because he moves around a lot. Kathleen and I, as well as Michael's parents, do keep in touch for the kids' sake. Every month, Michael sends me money through his friend. Given Michael's disdain for her and her financial difficulties, I assumed that he's not sending her any money. I didn't want to seem like I was bragging or anything, so I never brought up the money that Michael was sending me. Apparently, she always assumed I had a high-paying job and only recently found out from Michael's parents that that was not true, and it came to light that Michael was sending me money. So now she wants me to give her half the money Michael's sending me. She even suggested she was being generous since she really should get 2/3 since she has 2 kids with Michael, and I only have 1. The thing is, giving away half the money would really be a big financial blow to me and my son. It would mean a drastic change in our lifestyle, and we would have to move. I also wouldn't be able to put aside any more money for emergencies or for his future education. So far, I only have a small amount saved, but by the time he's 18, it should be a good amount to get him started. I do realize this is unfair to Kathleen and her kids, but as my son's mother, I do feel like it's my job to put him first and set him up for the best future I can. Ultimately, we can all agree that Michael's the main idiot here, but I wonder if I am too. I can live with it if I'm being an idiot too, but maybe knowing how much I am will help me with how I further interact with Kathleen. Edit. I do have a child support order. So does Kathleen. Kathleen hasn't been able to enforce hers because Michael gets paid under the table and doesn't have a bank account. The money he gives me is the child support, but not through official channels. Not the idiot. This has nothing to do with you and is 100% a matter between her and the guy she has 2 kids with. If she does go to court, it would be against him, not you. Technically, you have no reason to even communicate with her. However, you are getting money through the guy's friend, so that's not exactly reliable. I wouldn't be basing my current lifestyle around such a nebulous source of money that could go away entirely at any point. This, OMG, that friend could be skimming some of it off the top already. Michael is an idiot though. Come tax time or Social Security time, his kid's mom will get the court-ordered child support. All the dodging and avoiding he's doing isn't helping him in the long run. My child support dodging ex does the same thing. He's going to be working until the day that he dies because he's not paid any money into Social Security, so he'll receive nothing then. OP, what happens if you did share your child support money with her and she manages to get Michael to pay hers later? Whether he does it willingly or is made to by the court, is she going to pay you back for any money you gave her? It is unfair to her and her kids if what you've been told is correct, but she has no right to ask you to share your money. She needs to get her child support order enforced, and she'd be asking Michael's parents and friends to help her get him to pay child support, or asking his parents for money since they're her kids' grandparents. What if he's already paying Kathleen, but she's lying about it to get some of OP's money too? There are just so many what ifs and only one answer: for her to go through the court and let them sort it out. Sharing child support between different baby mamas isn't a thing. Her situation is with Michael, and OP has nothing to do with it. Don't give in to scammers and bullies. My sister and I grew up in poverty, were homeless as kids, and never were taught how to manage money or make it last. When we were adults and got jobs and moved in together, I made minimum wage while she made decent money. I would also watch her cat for her when she was at work, working fly in, fly out. One day we got into an argument because I got accepted for a well-paying job that unfortunately meant I would also not be home for a couple of days at a time. She lost it and said if I couldn't take care of her cat, then I had to leave or pay all the rent so she could hire a cat sitter. She then threatened me with violence and getting rid of all my belongings if I didn't go immediately. So I was made homeless in the middle of winter. Luckily, I was able to crash on my friend's couch until I saved up for a new place. A couple of months later, my sister and I talked and she apologized. I accepted the apology, but our relationship hasn't been the same. Now it's been about 3 years since then. My sister called and said that she had missed a lot of work due to this or that and needed help with money for rent. I paid her rent because even though she made me homeless, I don't want to see her go through that. Now a month later, she called again and is asking for more money and is promising to eventually pay it back. I honestly have little trust that she will because she never learned to manage money. I told her that the position she put me in sucks because she literally made me homeless and didn't care about my financial struggle at all when I had nothing. She said she didn't know what to say because I was right, and it was crappy of her. I feel bad because I hate hurting people, and I know how bad the price of living is right now. So am I the idiot for not helping my sister financially? Not the idiot. You've already helped her, which is more than she ever did for you. And if you keep helping her, she could end up taking advantage. Personally, I would think about helping her with finances and see if she could afford to pay you back if you lend it. Make sure you get any agreement about money in writing to cover yourself if it does go sour. She picked a cat over you. I think you really need to let that sink in. It doesn't matter that she said, "I'm sorry." That means nothing without action behind it. And from this story, it doesn't sound like she's put any actual actions to how sorry she truly is. You've already done enough and have supported her way more than she did you. You shouldn't feel bad about not paying for her rent because she literally did not care if you were homeless. So why should you? I would say tell her to seek some mental help, but you can't support her financially. OP, wake up. She's not going to pay back what she owes you, and it sounds like if you keep bailing her out, she's going to keep asking for more. Info: why does your sister's cat need constant attention and care? Cats are pretty self-sufficient. Just throw down some food, water, and a clean litter box, and they'll be okay for a couple of days. I think there was another reason for kicking you out.